All right, good morning, friends. Okay, so today, the topic, I chose this one pretty randomly too. But let me go to it. So this devotional in itself is called There's a Reason for Your Season. And so the one that I'm reading today, it's called Crossroads. And so I personally picked this one because sometimes in seasons of life, like I don't always get what God's doing in my life. And so I always try to be super transparent when I don't know what he's doing, and not saying it's a bad season in my life at all. It's a beautiful season. I think every season's beautiful, even if it is something that isn't the way that I'm going or whatever. I always try to look at it in his perspective, saying, okay, God, what are you doing in this season? Are you teaching me something? Are you growing me? Are you giving me what I want? Are you giving me what I prayed for? Or are you making me wait? All about it. But I like try to get his perspective on things. And so that's why I constantly do these Zooms. That's why I constantly do devotionals in the morning. I get my headspace right. So if you're someone who is looking at your phone to start the day and you're not taking time to like really fill your own cup up, I promise you that energy is going to pour out way faster than if you were just to start your day with like a devotional. Even if it's just a simple one-page devotional, just starting somewhere is going to really help you. So this one's called Crossroads today, and it says, there is a reason for your season. God has you placed where you are right now. We can often look at your life through a straw, which, if you've ever heard Morgan say that, she's actually said you've looked through your life as like a straw. And that's like when you have just such a small view on things. So it's pretty funny that it says that, but it says you only see life through what is going on right now at the moment. However, what we need is a bigger perspective. Jeremiah was only 17 years old when he was called to be a prophet. God told Jeremiah to follow the road of his ancestors to find peace when standing at the crossroads. When you talk about where you are in life, the stages you are standing in the crossroads. God wants you to pay attention while standing at the crossroads. Whether you are a student, single, married, a parent, or any other stage in your life, pay attention to the season you are living. Remember, it is a season, it is temporary. The first thing we have to do when we are paying attention at the crossroads is accepting where we are. Have you accepted where you are in this stage of life? Many of us want to hit a fast forward button or even rewind buttons at times. We want to be older in some stages, but then find ourselves wanting to be younger in other stages. We end up with a backward and forward type of game. How many of you guys actually feel that way? That is literally me constantly. I'm like, oh, but I prayed for this, but I kind of want to go back to where I was like comfortable in. But then I prayed for this at one point, and then I constantly am going back and forth. And Morgan actually had to kind of remind me of that yesterday. And so it said, God wants you to realize that where you are is where He placed you. The season you are living can be a blessing with God's direction or a place of destruction. It can be a place of impact. In 1913, the Model T was rolling off the assembly lines, but just as they were trying to produce more vehicles in America, they already had 4,000 deaths due to automobile accidents. So an engineer by the name of James Hogue had a solution. Using an idea from the lights of the railroads, he decided to make the first electric traffic lights for cars using the words move and stop to control traffic. Other inventors would later use red, green, and yellow lights instead of using words. The traffic lights help people on the crossroads. Maybe you need a red light at this moment in your life. You may be going down the wrong path, or you might need a yellow light during the season. You need a caution to be careful. You might need a green light in the stage to put the car in gear and take off to allow God to do something. Pay attention to the crossroads and accept the season you are living. And this kind of goes with like a season of just gratitude and just being grateful for where you're at. And I was talking to a leader yesterday, and she was just like kind of upset, and she was just angry, I think, at herself for the mindset that she was in. And I think that she personally, and this is my personal experience too, is she tries to skip so far ahead that you aren't realizing the season that you're in right now is something that you used to pray for, even if you're still not comfortable with where you're at. And so there have been so many times, especially, and I can relate it to this business so much. That's why I talk about this business so much, because it literally is my life. But there's been so many seasons where I would get frustrated at people or upset, and I would look at it and I'm like, why is this person doing this? Why is this leader acting like this? Where's my team at during this season? Blah, blah, blah. And it would always be something I was complaining about, but it was always something that I used to pray for. And I always have to check myself in gear. And that's why when I like am upset, or like I'm going through something, or I have a mindset, like I go to someone that I trust to give me a positive perspective. I'm not going to go to someone that I know is going to agree with me and say, oh yeah, you're right, you should be angry at this. I'm never going to go to someone like that, because I don't want them to agree with me. I want them to give me a different perspective that I see on things. And so when I had my call with Mary Beth the other day, if y'all don't know who she is, she's in the corporate office and it works, and she's really high up, but she has a really great impact and a really great way of saying things. She's super yellow, but she is also red. And so she has like a good perspective to look on things. And so it's just always good to get perspectives on things. So if you are going through a season, I really ask you to reach out to someone that maybe you look up to that you know that's not going to agree with you, and someone that you are going to be like, you know what, I didn't think about that. I went to Morgan yesterday and she was like, you used to pray for this. And I'm like, I didn't even look at that because I was so busy complaining on what I feel right now. And so I think that that's what God's reminding you, is like, figure out what type of light that you need in this season. Do you need a red light where it's saying stop, look at everything around you, and just write down and see the things that you are blessed for? There are times where I'm not where I want to be in my season. Like right now, we're pushing for presidential. We're not where we need to be at for volume, but I had to take a step back, write down all the great things that were happening around me yesterday. And it really gave me a perspective, because I was like, even though I'm not where I want to be, I'm where I used to pray to be. That's a blessing in itself. I have so many people on my team. That's a blessing in itself. We're slowly working towards where we need to be. That's a blessing. And like, I had to point out all the little things. And then maybe you're at a yellow light. Maybe you need to be cautious because you're constantly going forward, and you can slip back into that little headspace that will get you to go all the way down. One of my leaders does that. She goes full speed, and then all of a sudden something happens. She just like tumbles into a ditch. And I'm like, sis, you got to find like a pace. And then maybe you're at a green and you have to go full force and you're just headed for it. I feel like I'm at this green season where I like literally have to go for it, and I have to give it up my all because we're going for presidential. And a lot of things are going to happen with that. And so maybe you're at that season in your life. I don't know if you kind of need to self-reflect on that, but God has you at your season of life for a reason. He needs you to reflect on that. And maybe you need to write down things that you're blessed for. Maybe you need to write things down that you don't personally like in your life right now. Like a couple of weeks ago, I didn't like that I was getting up at 7:45, 8 o'clock, and I felt really overwhelmed at the end of the day, because I was like, I still have not got my stuff done. So I made a commitment to wake up at 6:45 every day. Do you know how much stuff I get done waking up at 6:45? And that's really not that big of a time difference, 6:45 to 8. It's an hour and something, 15 minutes, I don't know. Really bad at math over here. But I made that decision and I was like, okay, this is going to better me. So guess what? I felt so much better waking up so much earlier. And so I do that. I made a lifestyle change to get a healthier diet and to really stay committed to be able to use these products every day, and stay committed to reaching out to my team every single day and put them, well, me first, obviously, because I need to get my head right, but then putting them second. So like, I didn't put off reaching out to them till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I decided to change that and, have my time blocked from 10 to 11 when I reach back out to them. And so I don't know what sacrifices you need to make. I don't know what perspective you need to gain on your life, but if you are going through a really hard time right now, I bet you there are so many blessings that are happening in your life that you just don't see because you're so blinded by the things that are going wrong. It's okay, because I think our mind constantly goes through that, but I think it's a really great thing, and you can make a huge impact on people when you see the blessings that are going right in your life. So I do challenge you to sit there and write out things that are going right in your life today. And even if you feel like you're in a really great headspace, it still gives you a positive perspective to see, oh, wow, that was a blessing. That's a blessing. All blessings are happening around me. And then when you can see that, when someone comes and messages you and says, this is going wrong, this is going wrong, you can see the blessings and you can pour into them. And guess what? You can help better their day. Like I was talking to someone yesterday, again, they were, like I said, they go like 90 to nothing, and then they fall into a ditch because something goes wrong and they get in that bad headspace. And then I simply just asked, have you wrote down the little things? Have you focused on the little things that are going right? And it was because Morgan reminded me of that. So guess what? It's a trickle effect. She reminded me of that. I reminded her of that. And now look, I'm in a better mood today. So hopefully that helps. And then I did want to read off of this one. And this is off of my prayer journal. And I think it's a really good self-reflection because it literally says reflect. So it says the Bible is full of countless examples of people, average people just like you and I, whom God chose to do big things for his kingdom. Think of Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt, Esther risking her life for her people, and Jonah warning the people of Nineveh. I don't know, among others. Through scripture, we know that many of these people doubted themselves and felt unqualified to do what they were asked to do, even to the point of pleading with God to choose someone else. Have you ever felt called to do something, but also felt unsure of yourself and how in the world God could use you to accomplish it? Even now, do you have an opportunity before you that scares you and excites you all at the same time? Write about an experience like this. Always remember that God will guide you. If he is calling you, he alone will qualify you and grant you the grace to rise to the challenge. I feel like that's pretty accurate. That's actually how accurate it is for me. I'm scared to reach the next levels. I'm scared of the responsibility that comes with that, but I've prayed for it. And God wouldn't put that vision in my mind if he didn't know that I could handle it. And so I'm just going for it. I'm going full force with it. I'm trusting God that he's going to lead me along the way, that he's going to guide me to the tracks. And so maybe you're at this battle where you're like, I want to pray for more. I'm good at where I'm at, but I want to pray for more because I want more, but I'm also scared of what's going to happen if I get more and then I can't handle it. Guess what? God's going to give you the ability to handle it, whether you get it and then you lose it. You know how many times I've promoted in this business and lost it? It was genuinely a heart thing. It was nothing else. It wasn't this business, wasn't the people on my team, wasn't anything else. It was my heart that needed to change. And I think he put me through that to show me, hey, sis, you cannot do this alone, number one. And number two, you need to care for people. You need to actually empower people and allow them to see that they can do things too, not just you. Like, and all these things. And so now I'm at a place in my business where I'm like, I trust you. I trust you fully. I know you wouldn't lead me wrong. And so, Amber, it's been let me bring this up. Yeah, that has been a huge struggle for me for promoting this month too, because I see how much volume we still need, which is really the biggest blessing because we've never been so close. But I'm also like, ooh, how are we going to do this? How am I going to rally my team? How am I getting my team excited? How can I empower my team to really duplicate and really see that their value is just as important? It's been a really big struggle, but I know that we can do it. And so maybe it says write down an experience like this that you're feeling right now and always remember that God will guide you. So what are you trying to accomplish? But also you're in the battle between what scares you and excites you. So maybe you're in that season. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a promotion. Maybe it's not. It has nothing to do with this business. Maybe it's becoming a homeowner. Maybe it's becoming a mom. Maybe it's something, I don't know what it is. But each and every single one of you guys are going through something, whether it's significant, whether it's not, or you know someone who's going through something. So you just gaining this perspective and realizing, okay, God put me in this business. God put me in this world to do something great. Why would I sit here and just be basic? Why would I just sit here and just be like totally independent, not trying to depend on God for anything? Like that life isn't fun. It's genuinely not. I've been there where I'm like, I can do it myself. Did it, lost it all. It's not fun. Okay. I'm just going to tell you right there. But sometimes we have to make those mistakes to understand that. And so I want you today to self-reflect and say, okay, what stage of life am I in? Do I need to go? Do I need to run full force? Am I so close to this promotion that I have nothing to lose if I gain it, or if I race after it and then I don't receive it? You're still going to receive something. You're going to receive the biggest blessing of just being who you are and learning in the process. Say you're at a red light and you're like, you need to stop doing all the bad habits that you're doing. How many times have you had to do that? I've had to do that. I've had to stop the bad habits of like Dallas. If he would be like, hey, you want to drink? Like, you want to like a drink at the end of the night, like just to cap it off. Okay. Alcohol literally makes me feel sick. Like every time I drink a freaking just glass of wine or whatever, I get the biggest migraines. I don't understand. My body hates me. So when I do that, I realize that I would wake up later in the weekday, and that just doesn't serve me. So I stopped doing that. Other things, stop watching movies so late at night. Other things, stop watching Netflix so much and replaced it with devotionals and things like that. So if you have to stop the bad habits, do that. Maybe you're at a yellow season where you have to be cautious, but you're still going, do that. So just kind of self-reflect. And then I promise you, when you get that in order, the people who are with you, the people who are under you, the people who you influence will see that. And then now they're going to be able to self-reflect and be like, okay, what do I need to change to be where she's at? Because I want to be where she's at. I look at Morgan all the time. I'm like, I want to be where she's at. What is she doing? What is she not doing? Blah, blah, blah. So that's what I'm constantly doing. And I self-reflect all the time. And so I just want you to do that. And then also surround yourself with people who care about the things that you care about. Surround yourself with people who are going to be uplifting, because if you're constantly around negative people, but you're trying to better yourself, especially in the season where you are, like, you need to stop the bad habits. You need to start the new habits. You need to pray over the habits that you're already forming. Be around those people who are a positive influence, because they aren't going to tell you to stop. They're going to be like, you freaking go. You go. I trust in you. I believe in you. And it's just a positive impact. We talk about that all the time, but that's really important. Really have to guard my circle, especially with trying to promote this month. Like, I'm not going anywhere this weekend. I told myself that, and people asked me to go out of town the last weekend of the month. And I was like, I can't do it. Like, I gotta stop. I gotta like start saying no to people. And so that's kind of a habit that I needed to pick up. Instead of saying yes to everything, I need to start saying no to something. So hopefully this helps. I don't know. I just felt like someone needed to hear this. I, again, always pick these randomly. I do devotionals before I get on the power hour and stuff. So I feel like that's a really good self-reflection for people to kind of realize what it is that you need to do in your life and what habits you need to pick up and what you need to stop, and then also what you need to gain, and just be grateful for the season that you're in, because we're all grateful for something. So if you have not been doing gratitudes, I'm telling you, I don't know how many times I need to say this. I will repeat it over and over again because I'm passionate about it. Write down gratitudes. Write down things you're grateful for. Okay. Even if it's literally just for your cup of coffee. There are some days where I'll literally write down, I'm so grateful for this pen that I'm writing with. I'm so grateful for this piece of paper. I'm so grateful for my coffee. So grateful I get to lay in this bed. I just want to be grateful for the day. It can be something super small or super big. Either way, it's going to make an impact in your attitude of the day, which is also going to lead into other things for the day. So hopefully that helps. I'll stop this